guys, Kelly here from Body Fit Solutions. Just wanted to give kind of more of a functional workout today that could be applicable for people that have some equipment at home, have had some experience with doing strength and conditioning work, and are at a good level. Some of our clients who are coming regularly to classes, just to give you some ideas for things at home or potentially in a gym if you're working in a gym environment. So what I've got today is a kettlebell. You only need one, or a medium to heavy dumbbell. So I've got a 10-pound kettlebell or a 15-pound depending on the exercise. But I've also got a 3-kilo weight just to show you the variations with a dumbbell. I've got a medicine ball, and hopefully if anyone's doing any myofascial release from our studio, you will already have a med ball at home. Ideally you need a wall that you can hit it against, but if not, again, I'll give you the variations with the dumbbell. And then I've got some tubing, so just rubber tubing that you can get online with the handle, and ideally a flex band that you could tie around your legs. We've got a feedback strap that's attached to the rubber band, and I'll show you that in a minute. And this should take about half an hour of a workout. So I'm just going to go through the exercises and then you can do it in real time. I'll do some of the sets so that you can see how I'm doing it. Make sure you do an efficient warm-up before you go. So doing some myofascial release, especially probably on the hips and quads, down to the TFL and IT band. And if you're tight in your hamstrings and calves, then I would go for that as well. So we're going to start with a medium kettlebell. I use the 15-pound for this, but feel free to use the dumbbell or a lighter weight. And I'm just going to go into a single kettlebell swing. So just starting the momentum there, making sure you come up into standing posture every time. Now you can stay on the spot, just do 10 repetitions, and then swap to the other side. Or you can do this in time, so you can do 30 seconds, or you do 15 seconds on one side and 15 seconds on the other side. And what I did today was add a little hop. So as the kettlebell goes up, I'm going to hop forward. And I did that 5 times, and then I came back. 1, 2, 3, 4, make sure there's no obstacles around, 5, and then swap to the other side, same thing. And 1, and 2. So make sure you're hopping when the kettlebell goes up. 4, and 5, and back. And 1, and 2, 3. So feel free to stay on the spot. Make it a little bit low impact. And release. So if you have just a dumbbell, you don't have a kettlebell, same thing. Single arm swing. Make sure you're coming up into standing posture and not going into a hyperextended hip. So up, up, and up, and also that you're not hyperextending through the knees, so feel space through your knees as you come to the top. So 10, 5 forward, 5 back, 10 on one side, 10 on the other, or you can do it for time. Then what I did after, and if you have a big ball, a big stability ball, you could do this on the big stability ball as well. But I just took medicine ball on one hand, be careful with wrists, and the other hand on the floor. And just going into a press up 5 times on one side, 3, and 4, and 5. Of course, if you're very strong and connected, you can do this in a full press up. It does put a lot more stress on the wrist on the ball. 5 on the other side. And 2, 3. Make sure your transverse abdominis is gently retracted back, and you have expansion up through the upper body. If you don't have a medicine ball, go into a staggered position. So I've got one arm forward, one arm slightly back, and do the same thing, 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. And then what I did is repeated that sequence again. So going to the kettlebell swings, and then going back into the medicine ball. So the second set, I did take a lighter weight, just for me doing these swings. It is a little bit more challenging than the going forward because we're going to the side. So I recommend either doing this without weight, with a lighter dumbbell, or if you do have a lighter kettlebell to be able to do this with, then go for that. It's really important that you get the movement first before you start adding the weight. So if you're getting confused with the movement, then just do it without the kettlebell because it's actually quite hard just as it is. So we're going to do a little swing to the side. So I've got the kettlebell in the right hand. I'm going to be swinging to the left, so towards my left leg, and taking it up and back, up and back. Notice how I'm pivoting the back leg. And then what I'm going to do is step so that the left leg is forward and I've got the kettlebell on my shoulder. And I'm going to push off, swing, and down. And swing, and down. I managed 8, and that was quite taxing. You don't have to take the kettlebell all the way up. If there's any discomfort in the shoulder, lighten the weight, or just do it without. Awesome. Okay, then let's take it to the other side. So I've got it on the left-hand side. I'm going to swing to the right. Make sure you have good core control, so you're not floppy in the middle, retracting, and then I step onto the right foot towards the left. This is hard already, so I've already done a set. Notice how I'm not going as high on this side. It's a little bit more challenging. I have no idea how many I've done, but it's feeling quite taxing. So I do one more. And awesome. So that's quite hard work. Even doing that without any weight will be quite hard. But I suggest if you don't have the swing down, is to just have the kettlebell in the opposite hand to your foot and just going down into our low lunges. Just like that. Hard enough as it is, okay? So don't progress to the bigger versions unless you've mastered the basics. Okay, following that, so I did 8 on each side, that was enough for me. Feel free to, again, play with 8 to 15 reps. Probably 15 is more on the high side. That would be if you didn't have weight. If you've got weight, you should be taxed by kind of 8 to 10. So, medicine ball. If you have a good wall that you can throw this against, so maybe if you're in a gym or you're working outside, then you can hit this against the wall. So I'm going to start with my left leg forward, and I'm going to have the kettlebell over to the left for into wall catch. So a little hop and catch. I'm not going to do this anymore because that wall is not an appropriate wall. If you don't have a medicine ball, you can do it with the dumbbell. So I'm just imagining I'm throwing it there, catch. Imagining I'm throwing it there, catch. When I did this for 10, and then I swapped around to the other side. Okay? Again, you can do this for time, so maybe 30 seconds, and then swap. Take sufficient rest in between, and then I did that lunge set again. So going into the swings, and down, or just on the spot, and then into the hops again. Just be very careful when you do the hops. If you're feeling any discomfort in the knee, take it down to just a tap. So you leap tap and get that really well. And if you do have pain, go back to your myofascial release, especially coming down the IT band, which can pull the knee out to the side or coming into the inner knee. Okay? And that's your round 2. Round 3, I'm going to go into the strap, and I'm going to take my kettlebell or my dumbbell and bring the strap around the knee. So this is going into our little squats. Ideally, if you have 2 weights that are the same size, this works really well. Up. Then I'm going to swap. This is very challenging. So I'm pressing up into the standing posture. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Swap it over. you have two dumbbells that are working at the same time. And that helps me to not hyperextend in my knees. Following that, I'm going to take my tubing, and I'm going to have it in the right hand, standing on the right leg. I'm going to let the body rotate to the left, and then I'm going to pull and rotate to the right as I pull. Coming back, so I stay to the left as I start the pull, rotate without the pelvis rotating, and back. So there's a little delay in me pulling, and you can see I don't take the elbow past the waist, so I want the torso to do the work. So I really want to feel the obliques working. And then obviously I'm going to do the other side. So I do about 8 to 10 repetitions. I don't fixate too much on repetitions, I go by feel. So when it starts to get a bit more challenging, then I do a couple reps more. Okay, so return to the right, and then I'm going to pull a little bit first. So my shoulder does feel slightly elevated, but then I get much more power in the turn. If I just start square and pull my shoulder back, it doesn't help me trigger rotation. Now, if you don't have a band, totally cool. You can use that kettlebell that you had at the beginning. The lighter kettlebell probably preferred, but whatever suits you best, or the dumbbell. Okay, then I'm going to stand on the opposite leg to my arm. Let the torso turn opposite to the kettlebell, and then same idea. So I pull a little bit with the shoulders to the left, and then turn my torso to the right, but without turning into the pelvis. And just make sure if you're doing this version, you're not going up into elevation, and that really works into my glutes on the opposite side. So that's your version without, and then going back to those swing sets with the band around your knee. So if you have a Dynaband or flex band that you can wrap around your knees, and then going into the double swings, or if you've only got one kettlebell, that's cool, you can go into just the single arm. And then we're going to finish with the kneeling plank, just to get a little bit more core, not that I haven't worked my core throughout, but just to kind of finish off the set. So I do support on my knees. If you have a mat or a cushion that you can put something there, and then I'm going to come down onto the elbows. Make sure I have a 45-degree angle. It's quite hard to see and feel, but I try not to let my hips go lower than my shoulders and not higher up. So it should be kind of level. Tilt the pelvis, so tilting the pubic bone to the navel, the hips to the ribs, but not so much that I pull into the back. So just enough that I feel that scoop through the front, and then either hold there, breathing. So it's navel up, chest opening. It's as if my shoulders are pulling apart from one another, so we don't want to be rounded in the posture, we want to be lengthened. And you can either hold there, breathing. If you feel that you come out of the posture, come out of it, reset yourself. There's no value in struggling in the wrong position. You've got to feel the transverse muscles, the deep abdominals drawing in and not bracing. So it's a gentle connection, and that you're not dropping the belly to the floor. And then I would do for 30 seconds, have a little breather, and then come back into it after you've had about a 30 seconds rest. If you know this exercise very well, you've worked it in our classes, you can add the leg raise, okay? Really, really challenging once we go into that position. Navel in, chest expanding, widen through the arms, widen the collarbones. And I'm going to very, very slowly press into one leg. Very, very, very slowly lifting the other leg. Without compromising my pelvis. The pelvis will want to twist. And without losing my connection. Very, very hard. I do 4 repetitions. And I'm pretty cooked. So if it feels easy, you're probably not connecting now. I go by the feeling. Do I feel my deep transverse muscles? Do I feel really open and connected to the back of the shoulder? If you feel those things, then you're in the right position. So, and then do a sufficient cool down for you. Maybe just 5 minutes of mindful breathing or anything that kind of brings you down, but you should feel kind of well-rounded with this workout, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Many thanks, bye.